Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Could everybody please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I understand Mr. Nuremberger is not here. Ms. Wilkins, could you read the roll call?
Terry Bilderback.
Need to unmute, Sherry.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Terry Bilderback.
Here.
Mark Favazza.
Here.
Rebecca Jacobs.
Here.
Jeff Moore. Paul Moran.
Yeah.
Hart Nelson.
Here.
John Ritter. Lisa Shearing.
Here.
Tom Shipley.
Here. And Jeff Moore was just here. I don't know where he went.
Okay, Chairman, we have a quorum.
Great, thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from February 10th. As it turns out, those are not finished. So we would like to push the approval of the minutes from the February 10th meeting to the regularly scheduled meeting in April. Any objections? Hearing none. For the next item on the agenda is old business. In old business, we have a special presentation to make this evening. Our recipient served on the Brentwood Planning and Zoning Commission since 2007, 14 years of service, and was the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission from 2013 until about 2 months ago. So I'd like everybody to join me in showing appreciation for Mr. Michael Daming, who's on the call, and thank him very much for his service.
Thank you.
Michael, the city of Brentwood has put together a special plaque. I have a piece of paper of what's written on the plaque, and it's presented to Michael K. Daming in recognition for 14 years of service to the city of Brentwood. Planning and Zoning Commission 2007 to 2021, served as chairman 2013 to 2021. David A. Dimmitt, mayor, and Bola Akande, city administrator. Thank you very much particularly for the professionalism you brought to this group. I prepared for this new role by watching our old YouTube videos and taking notes that I can run these meetings as professionally as Michael Daming did for so long. So thank you, Michael.
That's very kind. It really was an honor and a privilege. The plaque was not the best use of taxpayer dollars, in my humble opinion, but it's much appreciated, and the commission is in good hands. So thank you very much, commission.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Take care, Michael. Moving on to new business, we only have one agenda item. It's case number 21-02, the site development plan for access and parking lot modifications at 2827 South Brentwood Boulevard. I see we have a couple people, Mr. Fisher and Mr. Frederick.
Yep.
We did receive everything. We reviewed it. Would you like to take over the floor and present your application?
Well, I'm Bob Frederick Roofing. I'm happy to, we're staying in the Brentwood city. We're displaced down on Manchester, and we're happy to find a location at 2827 for our location for our office and warehouse. And Eric from Stock and Associates will explain what we're trying to do with our parking. And I'll have Eric explain that, but I just want to say that we're excited to still be in Brentwood and still be part of the community.
And we're glad you're staying. Mr. Fisher?
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen. I can pull up the latest site plan. It says I can't. Could someone allow me to share?
Up. Try it now. I think we lost him.
Oh.
I switched him to attendee.
Okay. Yolanda, you got that, or I can pull him back over? There we go.
We see you, Mr. Fisher, but you're on mute.
Thank you. Yeah, it's still not letting me share the screen so I can show you the latest site plan.
We just made you a co-host. That might do it.
There we go. So can everyone see this?
Yes.
All right, so this is the site located at 2827 South Brentwood Boulevard. It is bound by South Brentwood Boulevard on the east, West Pendleton Avenue on the south, Collier Avenue on the west, and then the existing commercial property to the north. The site is zoned GC and it is approximately 1.55 acres. The existing 23,000 roughly square foot building will remain unchanged. The only change we are proposing is to put in a drive-in door on the west side of the building. We are showing adding approximately 3,000 square foot of new imperviousness pavement to allow for operations, daily operations and accessing the drive-in door. All new, all disturbed area and all new proposed impervious area will be treated with a bioretention water quality unit. We are utilizing all the existing parking spaces on site. There's 38 total. We are going to remove one space on the western end of the property in this location right here to abide by the 12-foot landscape buffer. We have received comments on 3-4 from the city, from the planning or from Lisa and the landscape, and we have revised our plan, as you see in front of you, to satisfy all those requirements, with the exception of one. There was one comment to add an internal landscape island right here in the middle of this western parking area, and we feared adding a landscape island there would kind of interfere with the day-to-day operations of this area. So what we had proposed to do is instead of adding a landscape island, we're showing adding a tree to kind of make up for that, just to the north of the new pavement. And we are also going to connect this parking area to Collier. There's already the parking exists, that there's just not a connection to Collier. So we're proposing to add that connection in. And then we are also going to be proposing to add a 6-foot site-proof fence just on this western portion here to kind of isolate this area for the day-to-day operations of the facility. And with that, I can turn it over for any questions.
Great, thank you. Before we go to questions, I wanted to hear from Mr. Frankie, the city's landscape design firm. Mr. Frankie, you're on mute right now. Anything to add?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We reviewed this and had like 9 comments, and they range, for example, in the initial submittal, the petitioner did not provide the full 12-foot wide side yard. They made site plan changes to address that. Also on the side yard of Collier, they didn't have any street trees. They added those street trees. Um, we did also note, because there was a large number of existing crabapple trees, they were proposing to use eastern red cedar, which causes some trouble with a fungus called cedar apple rust. They switched those out to holly, so we shouldn't have that trouble. We also noted that one of the crabapple trees was in the sight line of one of their entrances, and they removed that as well. So they met, they addressed all of our comments. There were some that weren't addressed that I'd like to review. The current plans in the initial submittal mentioned that they were only going to utilize the existing wall packs. We did go out and look at the site during the evening when it was dark, and it is dark out there. We also did look at Frederick Roofing's current site, and there is more light on their current parking lot than exists out here now. The ordinance doesn't give a lot of clear direction. I think it's really kind of up to the city and the commission to decide, how much light they are going to require here. This isn't a business that people, frequent during the evening hours. So I think the lighting issue is really much more of a security issue for the property owner and whatever he feels he's comfortable with. No details were provided for a monument sign, just a note, so we didn't know what was going on there. There were no details provided regarding the security fence and gates at the time. Since that time, the petitioner has noted that they're going to provide a 6-foot high site-proof chain link fence. After reviewing that closer on their second submittal, we still noted that might not really be completely compatible because although we have a clear definition in the ordinance about a transitional yard, this is not a transitional side yard or front yard because it's separated by a street. But there is surrounding residential on the two sides, and we felt that it was important for the petitioner to utilize either a masonry fence or a solid fence that was more compatible and visually compatible with the surrounding neighborhood because it was residential. And one final note on the resubmittal that they proposed to use columnar Armstrong maples along Collier, and we just requested that they maybe scoot those back closer to the proposed fence or wall, just to keep them away from the existing overhead electric lines, because Ameren has a bad habit of giving trees really poor haircuts and making them kind of look flat. So if they scoot them back a little bit, I think we'll be okay.
Thank you, Mr. Frankie. Before I turn it over to commissioners for questions, Mr. Fisher, Mr. Frederick, anything new as far as the fence? The chain link fence sounds like it's not preferred. Have you guys looked at any other options?
We've discussed potentially a wooden fence if the chain link was not, a preferred option, I guess.
Yeah, we're also the chain. There's a fence with the mesh that hides inside. I don't know if that is considered a chain link with the mesh that hides the interior. We're thinking that too, or we go wood too, because on the north side of the property there is a wood fence that's actually on the Schnook's property, so we could blend in with that.
That sounds good. Commissioners, want to open it up for questions or further comments?
Well, I think, Mr. Chairman, I think if there's any question about the fence, then blending in with what's already there would be absolutely the right way to go, right?
The wooden fence.
Yeah.
Ms. Kirkenmeyer, anything to add from the staff report?
I had a question.
Oh, sorry, Mark Favazza.
Yeah, I had a question. So the new drive-in door you're putting in, to access that, would you have to drive like over the parking spots, I guess?
No, Eric, you're going to answer that?
Sure. I mean, I think the idea is that these parking spots are for the trucks, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bob, but you know, they're there for the off-peak hours before they're out, you know, going off to the site. So, you know, if anything needs to be accessed with that drive-in door, those trucks would either be gone or they would be moved so that access could be achieved to that drive-in door.
And that drive-in door is actually so right currently there's 2 dock doors on the south side of the buildings. So this would give us a place where we could actually drive into the warehouse, and we're actually going to keep some of our trucks in the actual warehouse. So everything, our plan is everything, roofing, materials, equipment are all going to be in the building. Only very, very little is going to be outside. Some of our larger trucks and some of our containers are the only thing that's going to be in the outside.
Very good.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Nelson?
Thank you. Just on, and I was rereading the traffic and circulation. So my expectation, it looks like probably have folks heading out at the beginning of the day. And that's when a lot of the traffic is going to be, or is it something that you expect that traffic to be at multiple times during the day? Just wanted to understand that, especially with the new curb cut, which I do understand was approved and just never put in place. Just wanted to check what that might look like.
Basically, on a normal day, you know, it'd be in the morning. Our trucks be leaving in the morning, come back in the afternoon. We're not going to have a lot of traffic. Traffic is definitely not going to be an issue. You know, we have 16 pickup trucks, 7 1 ton or bigger container truck. I mean, so it's not going to be a lot of traffic on our aspect of the situation.
Any other? So I understand postcards were sent out to all of the neighbors, as is protocol. And I have been watching the participant panel, and I don't see any others besides us here. I wanted to put out, are there any neighbors listening or watching that want to ask a question or make a comment? Seeing none. Would any of the commissioners want to make a motion to approve this application with the wood fence, perhaps?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to approve this application with the conditions outlined by our planning and zoning administrator with the provision of the wood fence. And I also would like to add the mention that I'm thrilled that this applicant has found another location in Brentwood to be able to stay here, and the sacrifice that they made for the betterment of the community with Brentwood Bound is greatly appreciated. I think it's a great application. So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Bilderback and seconded by Mr. Nelson with a comment from Ms. Kirkenmeyer.
So just to clarify for the commission then, the recommendations that were in the staff report, everything could basically be removed now as a condition, except if with the wood fence. But also number 4 of the staff report, it had all HVAC compressors shall continue to be required to be located along the north wall of the building and surrounded with a fence or adequate screen to reduce noise pollution. That was a condition of approval when Bomarito Wines was there and was included in one of the ordinances. So I think that and the fence would be the conditions and that still would be in your recommendation from what I'm hearing that would get forwarded to the board. So, but I just wanted to make that clear. But again, that the rest of them, they've all come into compliance with.
Ms. Bilderback, is that agreeable?
Yes, it is. It's exactly what I meant.
Should we do a vote? Roll call, please, Ms. Wilkins.
Sherry Bilderback,
Yes.
Mark Favaza,
Yes.
Rebecca Jacobs,
Yes.
Jeff Moore, Paul Moran,
Yes.
Hart Nelson,
Yes.
Lisa Shearing,
Yes.
Tom Shipley,
Yes. So it's approved. Congratulations, and again, thank you, Mr. Frederick, for staying in Brentwood. Much appreciated, as well stated by Ms. Bilderback.
Well, thank you, and we're happy to be here for another 50 years.
We're glad you are. So what's next on the agenda? Aldermanic report. Seeing no aldermen. Are there any aldermen here? Nope. City planners report. Ms.
Nothing to
Kirkmeyer?
report.
Any other business? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Any objections? All right, thanks, everybody. That concludes our meeting. We will not be having a March site plan subcommittee meeting, and we will see you in April.
Thank you.
Okay,
Great seeing
everybody.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.